Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Young Israel of Jamaica Estates, where tonight the Chazaq organization is honored and privileged to host world-renowned lecturer Charlie Harary. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chazaq's first of what we hope many lectures in this beautiful community. And I'd like to thank one young lady, individual by the name of Esther Harris for helping organize tonight's event. Esther, thank you very much for all your help. We really appreciate it. As we all know, our brothers and sisters in Eretz Israel, in Israel, are in the midst of a war against terrorism. Over the past few weeks, Chazaq has organized numerous lectures and Tehillim gatherings for the success of Am Yisrael and the IDF. Tonight's lecture is once again also dedicated for the success in destroying terrorism from our midst. Amen. Amen. In fact, since the three boys were kidnapped nearly 2 months ago, so many of our public school students, boys and girls from our Chazaq Teens Division, have Baruch Hashem accepted more mitzvot upon themselves. Some joining yeshivot for the entire summer, others putting on tefillin, and many of them keeping kosher. Let's keep the positive energy alive. Let's continue to grow and strive and learn more Torah and do more chesed, and most importantly, continue the achdut, the unity that has unfortunately had to come through a tzara, through a tragedy. And Baruch Hashem, I'm looking through the room, around the room, and I see Sfaradim, Ashkenazim, men, women, young, old, religious, not yet religious, everyone in together. And I have no doubt that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God Almighty, Hashem Yitbarach, is smiling down at us, and we are having an effect in the situation in Eretz Israel. If anyone would like to contribute towards Chazaq's mission of building a stronger future, not only for those that are less affiliated or less close, but for everyone, strengthening those that are near and bringing closer those that are far. Checks can be written at the Chazaq, that's CHAZAQ, or you can visit us online at chazaq.org, that's CHAZAQ, Chazaq with the Q, strengthening Queens.org. 3 very quick announcements. Number 1, tomorrow night, as we all know, is Tisha B'av, the 9th of Av, the saddest day of the Jewish calendar year, and Chazaq will be having, as many of the shuls throughout the world are going to be having a program, but our program is a little bit different. We're going to be having an all-day Tisha B'av program at the Bet Gavril Community Center in Forest Hills with over 15 live lectures every half hour. We're going to be having world-renowned speakers like Rabbi Ben Zion Schaefer. We're going to be having Rabbi Ben Zion Klatzko. We're going to be having Rabbi Yaniv Meirov. We're going to be having Rabbi Eliyahu Bergstein, and many other great rabbanim. You could get all that information in the back of the, when you leave, right next to the table where you enter, where the signing sheets, there's a flyer over there with all the information. You can visit us online with all the details. But another special part of the Tisha B'av program that we have is tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we're going to be having the Chavuta, the roommate, the best friend of Eyal Yifrach, Hashem Yikum Damo, one of the teens that were murdered, brutally murdered by Hamas, that were kidnapped and murdered. And he's going to come and give over an unbelievable, inspirational story. I actually heard him last week when we had him in Kew Garden Hills. The boy, he's 20 years old, is just unbelievable. He gets up there and he tells you, I can make every single one of you sitting in this room depressed by telling you my best friend got killed and he died. But no! Am Yisrael Chai, we got to continue strong, we got to move forward, we got to do more, we got to learn more Torah. And he gives you this energy, this positive energy that is not to be missed. That's tomorrow night at 9:45 p.m., like I mentioned, in Bet Gavril. On Tuesday, the whole day we're going to be having programs. Announcement number 2 is that a week from tonight, August 10th, Chazaq will be having a community-wide concert at the Young Israel of Kew Garden Hills featuring Ari Goldwag, who's all the way from Eretz Yisrael. He's the composer of the famous song Am Echad. He's also the composer of the song Yesh Tikva, and many other songs. That will be at 8 p.m. a week from tonight at the Youngers of Kew Garden Hills. This will be absolutely free of charge. All are welcome. We want to once again unite the community, not only in times of sadness, but also it's Tu B'av, so it's a time of happiness in a sense. So please come and show your support. Last but not least, Achron Chaviv, regarding the announcements, is that please reserve this date, save it in your phones, put it down in your pieces of papers, or remember it in your brains. The date is September 15th, 2014, about a month and a few days away. Chazaq will be having its second annual dinner at the Leonards of Grey Neck, the beautiful wedding hall. And this is our main fundraising event to keep our many programs going, and specifically our amazing after-school program for public school teens. So please save the date, September 15th, 2014. It's a night of inspiration, a night of unity, a night of just unforgettable memories. Last year, Baruch Hashem, we had about 600 to 700 people at the event, at this dinner. This year, my goal, in Mitzvah Hashem, again, you don't expect for anything, but I hope to have over 1,200 people to show their support to this organization that does so much in this community and beyond. So please do whatever you can. If you can't make it for whatever reason, there's going to be a journal that you could write, I went to this event, I got inspired, or I heard this in this lecture, I took upon myself this and that, or I was in a very bad mood, I was always sad, and I listened to a lecture, and it made me always happy. Whatever you want, write in it. It's very, very helpful. And Baruch Hashem, since last year's dinner, we quadrupled our teens division. Plus, we moved to a new office. Plus, we started the ChazaqRadio.com, which is unbelievable. Thousands of people all over the world listen to our shirim and shows and lectures on a consistent basis. Anyways, I could go on and on about the programs, but I don't think you guys came to hear me tonight. But before we call upon our guest speaker, I have the honor of calling upon a man who has dedicated his life for Jewish causes. He really needs no introduction, especially being that this is his community. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a very loud round of applause to the head of the Afikim Foundation, Rabbi Rafael Butler, for opening remarks.
Thank you very much. I'm also here because of Esther Harris. It's a great honor to be here and to just offer. I'd like to frame the evening a little bit. We're going to be hearing from Charlie Harary, this wonderful fellow that has spoken throughout the world, and I'm sure many of you have heard him before. And we're here also in the sponsorship of Chazaq. There's a tie-in between all of that and these particular days. We're going to be saying in Eicha, the second parak, V'lo haya b'yom af Hashem palit v'sarid, that on the day that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that God unfurled his wrath against the Jewish people, on this day of Tisha B'av, there was no palit v'sarid. Everybody was destroyed. Everybody died. Nobody escaped. And the obvious question is, how can the Navi, the prophet, write that nobody escaped when plenty of people escaped? How can the pasuk say that Lo haya bayom af Hashem palit v'sarid, when we know for certainty that the Jewish people didn't all die at that time? So the Stipler of Zecher Tzaddik Livracha explains that there wasn't a Jew in the world that wasn't impacted. It's not that they died, but their lives changed forever. It was a transformational moment. Everybody felt different. Everybody was broken. We can feel it a little bit as we sit here as an extension of what's going on there in Israel today. You feel it. You feel it deeply. Chazaq as an organization is a movement that feels the passion of every Jew, feels the need, tries to fill that gap of inspiration, of motivation, because they feel it. And if you want someone speaking for a movement that feels it, there's probably no one around like Charlie Harary. Charlie, well, you could speak of his success in so many areas of life. You could speak of his inspiring words and the articulate sense that he shares with communities and many faiths all over the world. But if you want to know what Charlie Harary is, he's someone who cries for the Jewish people. He's someone who every day gets up and tries to think, how can I feel and extend myself to those that are distant, those that are close, those that need a hug, those that need a good word, those that need a direction. This is all a ripple effect of the despair that we felt in the moment of the Churban. And I pray with all of you this evening that starting with the words of inspiration we'll be hearing in just a few moments, followed by our own tefillos and bakashos, our own prayers and lamentations over the next days, followed then by a transformation of self and of communities. Kadosh Baruch Hu should bring the Geula. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Butler. I just want to acknowledge the presence of our Assemblyman David Webrin. Thank you very much for coming. After Rabbi Butler's amazing introduction, what else can I say? Without further ado, another very loud round of applause for Mr. Charlie Harary.
Thank you, everybody. It is truly an honor to be here. What an opportunity. 24 hours before we go into maybe arguably the holiest day of the year. First and foremost, to be able to have the honor of Rabbi Rafi Butler, who literally spends every second of his life worrying, caring about the Jewish people just in this room. It's a tremendous covenant, and thank you so much for your words. And I know that your actions, along with the actions of a few people like you, are the reasons why we're getting closer and closer to Geula. May Hashem continue to bless you to do what you do to get us to the goal line, where we get to be able to see around and have nights like this, but we're smiling and laughing with Geula Shleima B'Meher B'Yameinu Amen. Thank you, you've been great, I appreciate it. Most importantly to Chazaq, who just, Yaniv, who is just absolutely tireless. I don't know what he eats, when he sleeps, but I want all of it. It is just what he's done. I've had the opportunity to speak for Chazaq for a bunch of years, and every year there's just more stuff going on and more programs, and they're expanding, and they've got this after-school program, and really they are definitely worthy of the support of this community. And in particular, everyone that's here, and we should be Zochi Yaniv to have continued success in all that you do in the area of Chazaq. This year is being sponsored Ilul Nishmas Baila Bas HaRav Yaakov Aryeh. May her family have nachas, and may she have Aliyah's neshama, and all of us together here. Okay. We are actually, I think, in the most confusing times of the year. Every single month, it sort of makes sense. We get it a little bit. Pesach, you got to make sure the chametz is out, and the whole thing, and the cleaning or the packing, depending on where you're going, and then food and then not food, and then you get the shavuos and it's up all night. And even when we do things like fasting, which we don't like because we're Jews and we don't like messing with our food, even fasting we get for like other times, like Yom Kippur, repentance, I'm sorry I wasn't so great this year. Almost every single time period of the year makes sense, and it's somewhat clean, it's clear, except for this time period. We get to the 3 weeks, and we have no idea what to feel. There's like the whole boogeyman thing that we get really scared of. Like, we don't know what to do and where to go. We can't go outside and put like the kids. Everyone sort of like wants to take their family, lock them in the house, close the door, and wait for like Shabbos Nachman. When you come outside, you can't swim, don't drive in the country, don't eat this, don't go there, don't have chicken. And it's like a whole world of we don't know what Hashem is going to do next. As if God, who's merciful, turns into this big bully walking around with like a bat, and you don't want to be caught outside during the 3 weeks. And for sure not Shavur Shechabo, especially for Sephardi, because Shavur Shechabo we don't mess with. Are we sad? Destruction? I gotta pretend like I really wanna cry for the Beis HaMikdash, but I really don't feel it. I gotta watch things and hear things that make me cry. You ever get that feeling on Tisha B'av? You get one good cry and then like, okay, you've done it. I got it. I cried. I'm in. I'm sad. I feel terrible. I saw a movie about someone dying and I got it. All right, am I good now? I cried. I just can't wait for my orange juice and bagel and I'm done. Right? What are we feeling during, especially beforehand? There's like this anticipatory fear. Am I going to make it this year? No, it's 25 hours. It's a little shorter than last year. This is like the night where we walk in and we don't know what's going to happen next. And this period of time, for so many of us, we just hope to be over with. I just can't wait for the weekend. Because it's all behind me. 3 weeks, 2 big fasts. I did it, I'm done. Now it's summertime, don't bother me till Elul. And there's a late Elul this year, so really don't bother me till Slichos. I'm good for 2 months, I'm off. But it feels wrong. And the Netziv Shalom, whose yahrzeit, by the way, is today. I don't know how much time we have left of the day, but it's the 7th of Av. Says the following. I'm going to read it to you inside. I'm going to do a little bit from the Netziv Shalom today because it's his yahrzeit. I want to read to you what he writes on the inside, because he says something that is astounding. He says, Begimel hashvua shel bein hamitzarim. The 3 weeks, yesh kedusha, there is holiness. Yoser gavoha me'asher mishalosh regalim. There is more holiness in these 3 weeks than in the entire shalosh regalim. Misha zocha, and who is really worthy? Margish, he feels it. Begimel hashavuas elu shel yemei bein hamitzarim es haor. Ready for this? Hagadol hatamun b'soch hachodesh. There is this big light that is hidden, that is nestled through the darkness. But Tisha B'av, and it culminates and builds and builds. In Judaism, in the physical world, you start with a bang and you trail off. In the spiritual, it's the opposite. The holiest time on the spiritual, on Shabbos, is Shalosh Shudas. Because when there's any type of holiness, it builds and builds and builds, and it gets to a crescendo. The crescendo of the 3 weeks is tomorrow night. U'b'Tisha B'av, Bechinas hakusta de chayusa. It has the feeling like of a seed, that when you put a seed into the ground, within that seed is the entire tree. It hasn't come out yet, but the life force of that whole tree is contained in that tiny little seed. And in the tiny little day called Tisha B'av, contains in it everything. Hamevil et semicha chadasha. Geula. We think what Geula is redemption, and we don't even know what that means. We don't even know what redemption means. Like, when someone says Geula, you're like, oh no, do I have to go to Israel and wear a toga? Like, what am I doing? I have to bring an animal? I like my house. We have no idea what happens to Geula, so we're all like, we play to Geula. Sure, I want Geula, hopefully in the summertime before Yom Kippur, and hopefully I get a nice apartment in Rehavia. But we really don't know what's going to happen in Geula, so we're not like all in on Geula. Geula is not redemption. Geula is utopia. When you go through the Rambam and he speaks about Geula, Geula is a time where you never ever put on a computer and see soldier has to even protect our country. Forget get killed for our country. We never have to protect. Husbands and wife never have to disband. Kids never turn to their parents and go, you don't get me, I'm out the door. We don't have the pain that we go through. Geula begins personal. And it starts here. Tomorrow night, within the darkness, nestled in the rubble of the day, is the light, is the seed that brings forth the life force that is called Geula. And our job and our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to ensure the fact that when I'm on my second glass of orange juice, in 2 nights from now, I'm already counting because I hate fasting, I didn't go, whew, wasted a day, I got through it, I'm done. Gained nothing, but at least I don't have to fast until Yom Kippur. How do we get this force? How do we tap in to the ore that is within? So let's talk about it. Let's understand what's going on. So as you know, and you've heard this a million times, and we're going to build off what we've heard tonight and try to sort of see it from a different perspective. That Tisha B'av comes because of a very specific reason. We had a Beis HaMikdash. God rested in a home, and that Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. It happened twice. But the first time it happened because we violated some really big things. Murder, idolatry, illicit relationships, really big stuff. The second time it happened, the first time it took us 7 years to get back. The second time it happened for something that was so bad that we're not even over it yet. And what was that? And we all know the answer? Sinas Chinam. And I want to read to you what just what it is from a great rabbi named the Netziv. And I want you to hear it on the inside, just what life was like, and tell me if this sounds a drop familiar to us. B'chorban Bayesheni, on the second Chorban, Dor Ikesh Ubetaltel, it was a stubborn generation. Perashu Shayu Tzadikim V'Chasidim V'Omer Torah, they were learning Torah. They weren't all walking around doing Torah. They were all sitting around learning. They weren't irreligious. Ach lo hayu yesharim. They weren't straight. B'halichas olamim, in the ways of the world. Al kaim lipnei sinas chinam shebelibam. They internalized. They didn't inside. They didn't walk around with placards. They didn't walk around protesting. It was inside them. Someone doesn't look like you. Someone doesn't talk like you. Someone doesn't act like you. You know what was really going on? You want to know the terrible sin they did? In their hearts, they looked at a Jew and said, you don't look like me. Oh, you're a little bit... I tell this all the time, sorry. I go around to I speak in a lot of different places. Some people have heard me a few times. I say this again and again. I speak in a lot of different places. And every time I go someplace around the road, I get the same line. Same line. Come in, Rabbi goes, Charlie, you're going to love this community. How come? We are right in the middle. Right in the middle. I'm like, really? How'd you get right in the middle? Rabbi leaves, the president goes, the rabbi's to the right. I am right in the middle. The president leaves, my host goes, the president's on the left. I am right in the middle. You ever get the feeling that every single one of us is right in the middle? God rests over our heads. And you look a little religious, can you relax just a drop like you're going crazy? You're not religious enough, can you step up a little bit? Because you're barely a Jew, but thank God you have me and his people to welcome you in. Me, and even when we get more or less religious, you know what I'm talking about? Like Yom Kippur, God's with me religious. Summertime, okay, I'm a little bit less. I go back and forth, no matter where I go, somehow God seems to follow over me. And everyone around me that's not doing exactly what I'm doing, I'm like, please, but me, I got it. You know where this came from? This is what we're fighting against. Sinas Chinam was, they walked around and said, you don't look like me, you don't talk like me, you don't act like me, you know what? Maybe you're at Stuki or Ampikairis, please. And this was the cause of all that destruction. And the question for tonight is, why? Come on. Like really? I'm all for Midos. I look at the Midos score on my kids' report card before I get the rest of the scores. I'm Mr. You gotta be nice and take care. But really, all this destruction, God's going to destroy a temple. We have so much stuff to do. We are a nation with stuff. I mean, we have a list of a lot of things. We wake up, we go to bed, weekends, Shabbos is there, holidays, food, clothing, things that we're doing. There are so many things that we got to do every day. And we were doing them. We were on. Because I look at somebody else and I'm like not into them or I don't accept them for that. You're going to burn the place down, send me to exile for 2,000 years. Are you taking a drop too seriously? What is going on? So I want to go back to Nesiv Shalom. I'll tell it to you in an example. I remember years ago I used to watch as a little kid Superman. I don't know if it's still on or not, but when I was a little kid I used to be really into Superman. Superman's awesome. I And what made him so awesome growing up was that he was a regular guy. And he would just like go into like a booth and came out and like, is that a bird? Is it a plane? No. It's Superman. You know? Stronger than a locomotive, right? That whole deal. I wanted so badly to be that, jumping over buildings. I'm a white Jewish boy. I can barely jump a foot high. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be a ball player. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I remember my mother in the room? There she is, right? I remember one time I came home with my wife and I played basketball in high school. I remember one time I came home, I had a string of phenomenal games. I scored 20 points for like 3 games in a row. I'm like, Ma, change your plans. I'm not going to be a lawyer. She's like, it's bad enough you're getting with that, you're not going to be a doctor. I don't say you're not going to be a lawyer. She goes, I'm not going to. She goes, so what do you do? I'm like, I'm going to become a professional basketball player. She goes, Charlie, you're a white Jewish boy. You have a better chance of owning the team than actually playing. That conversation, right? Superman was like my idol. The guy just jumped, right? White men can jump. Superman was an amazing character. And the way it worked with Superman was that he was basically untouchable. You couldn't get to him. There's only one thing they got to him, and that was kryptonite. If you got him kryptonite, then all his powers were taken away. And I remember as a kid watching one episode. And that episode was, Superman went bad. I don't know what happened to him. Like, he had a bad day, he was going off the derrick, I don't know what was going on, but he went bad. And he started doing bad stuff. And there's an entire league, apparently, I don't remember, like in Marvel Comics, I think it's called the Justice League. And like, they all got together to find out like what to do. Like, I don't know if they would take him to like away for the weekend or, you know, give him chillin'. I don't know, that was the idea. But they figured out what they were going to do, and they didn't know what to do because Superman was still Superman. He just was bad Superman. And they had figured out the only way they were going to stop him is if they would get kryptonite and do it against bad Superman. So they negotiated with the bad guys, got some kryptonite, and used it against him, and just the kryptonite alone neutralized him. And they brought him back. He did tshuva, Yom Kippur, it was one. He came back. What is this whole deal with treating each other well? So the Tisha B'av says something amazing. He says, I'm going to explain to you what really is going on. We think that achdus, like looking over to somebody else, is a nice thing. I do a million things. I daven, I learn, I eat kosher, I wear certain foods, and on the list of all the stuff that I do is looking over and being nice. Chesed is one of the things that I do. Smiling is one, being nice to my wife or husband, looking at a Jew and not judging is one of the things on the many things that I do. And if I'm off, I'm off. And the Tisha B'av says that's not how it works at all. Here's how it works. We can do a lot of bad stuff. We can fail and fail and fail. But achdus, unity, is not an al-chet. You don't say sorry for it. You know what it is? He doesn't use this exact word. Kryptonite. It sucks away our power. We are a nation that is supposed to have different powers. We are the nation where God says, I will rest among you. In order for me to rest among you, I know you're going to fail. You're not going to always wake up and do what's right. You can do things that are sometimes wrong. Sometimes you'll go as far as murder or idolatry. You'll push far. You may be bad Superman. But you'll always be Superman. Because guess what? I'm your dad. And I built you this way. You are the nation that I walked out of Egypt with 10 plagues. You are the nation that walked into a land. You couldn't fight for anything. You came out of a Holocaust. And then 2 months later, you're fighting for your life. And now the entire world learning about the Israeli army. We're the Jewish people. We don't fight. We negotiate. We sue. We heal. Right? We eat. We complain about it. Since when do we ever fight? You're Superman, he says, but here's the deal. Fail and fail and fail. You know what I'll do? I'll build a mechanism where you can come back and say you're sorry and you'll come back again. But there's one thing that it's not that you failed at. It sucks your power. You're not who you are. You're not you. When you're not one people, I'm not your dad. Here's what he says. Koacham shel Yisrael b'kol ha'inyanim hu rak b'koach harabim. Your only power is when you're one. Shekasher hem miyuchadim ke'echad, when you're singular. When you look over and go, you know how religious I am? I am so religious that I can look down on you. You're singular. Az HaKadosh Baruch Hu nikra avihem v'hem nikrim banim l'makom. When you're off, the Kadosh Baruch Hu stops being called my father. You want me to be a dad? Stop playing nicely together. You don't want to play I don't care how much you kiss up to daddy. Until you kids can get along, you got no more power. What we're fighting right now is not a sense in any which way about we did this wrong and that wrong, and the first time we got these three, and the second time we got another one. It's that what happened the second time was that we lost our power. There is no way that a nation of terrorists should be able to ever touch us. We are untouchable. We walk through seas. We conquer lands. We walk into America, and in 2 generations when we were in the Holocaust, we rebuild an entire country. Do you remember what it was like 2 generations ago? 2 generations ago, my grandmother was in Auschwitz. 2, not 50, 2 generations later, if I walk into a convenience store and there isn't a kosher symbol, I am mad at the OU. You know what I'm talking about? You ever get that feeling? You're like, what? It's a granola bar and it's not kosher? Everything in a package should just be kosher already. You ever get that sense? It's in a package. What is the OU doing all day? I don't understand. There's only 40 minchas to choose from, and I'm supposed to know which one to pick from? There's no mincha at 6:54, because I'm in the mood at 6:54. I don't understand. We are the nation that does these things. We're superhuman. But guess what happens? If we're not one, the power pulls away. And we can do good things. And we can daven. And we can say Tehillim. And we can learn. But we don't have our force field back. And I think one of the things that we're all feeling as a nation right now is that exact reality. I don't know what's going on. We have been praying our eyes out. We have been praying and learning and praying. Do you ever find that this month you've been doing more Get Tehillim names? Have you ever had in your life more emails for Tehillim in a period of time since I never could remember more? The fact that 4 people were kidnapped, it's mind-boggling. And there's a sense that we're feeling like, I don't understand what is going on. We have the recipe. Is it not working? And the answer is, of course it's working. But then Siva Shalom, this is Charlie Harary. It ain't working the way it's supposed to be working because we're missing the core ingredient. And that core ingredient is our kryptonite. And then we can do everything else. But if we're missing that, we come out the world and we're open. And the question for tonight is why? Why? Why is it so important that we are one? Why? Why does he care so much that I can't just go up to him and go, listen, I don't really like what's going on here, but me and you, Dad, why can't I take a walk with my father alone and leave my brothers and sisters aside? Why does he care so much that our number one focus is achdus, is unity? And so I want to talk a little bit about unity. Because if you really nestle into the deep, and what I want to do now with you is go deeper. Because if you want to understand the or, if you want to know the light, where it comes from, you got to go into the story. And we start off with the Beis HaMikdash, but we got to go further into it, because as you get closer and closer and closer to the source, you get closer and closer and closer to the truth. And Chazal teach us that if you want to understand what's going on in the world, and anything that you're doing, go to the first time that it happened and look closely at that story. Because if you look closely at that story, the first time you know it happens, you will find within it, even if you don't know the first time, even if it looks like it's not, but if you look closely enough, at the first time anything happens in Judaism, that's all the internal stuff, all the internal kedushas right there. And so what I want to do is go through the first story. Let's go even deeper right now. It's the first time we had Tisha B'av. What was the first Tisha B'av ever? Remember? The Moroccan. Remember the story? Jews come out of Egypt. They're rocking. Walk through a sea. God shows up. Anybody want to marry me? We're like, we do. Here's the Torah. Everything's going great. They're getting ready. A little bit of bump. They made up for it. And now they're getting ready to go right in front of Eretz Canaan. And God goes, that's yours. And Jews meeting Jews go, you pulled some good ones in Egypt. I cannot wait to see what you got on your list for Canaan. And God's like, oh no, I'm sorry, you didn't get the memo? You're fighting. And they're like, oh, we don't speak Hebrew yet. Like, what do you really? No, I don't think so. We don't do that. No, I'm sorry. We'll be in the ambulance. We don't think so. So what they do is they send in spies. Remember the story? Spies go in, spies come out. Spies start to cry. God goes, you know I had enough of you. I'm done. And Moshe goes into action. Moshe turns to God and defends us, and we survive. That generation dies out, but we live. But Moshe's defense is the most confusing thing I've ever read in my entire life. Think about it. If you were Moshe, Moshe's like the first ever Jewish mother. You know what I'm talking about? Right? That's at least my Jewish mother. I get in trouble every day of the week in school. I'm like, right, boom, Jewish mother. It wasn't his fault. He didn't do it. He bumped into the fire alarm. He really didn't want to cut. It wasn't it. He really was going to be a good boy. Right? Moshe goes right into that line. Goes up to God, goes, it's not their fault, it's not their fault, it's not their fault. What do you mean it's not their fault? God's like, oh, that's it, it's over. It's over. They're crying, I'm done. And Moshe goes right into defense mode. If you were the defense attorney for the Jewish people, after they came back and they started crying for now walking into Israel, what would you say? On my list, I was an attorney for many years, on my list of what I would do is say, listen, they're scared. They're not rebelling. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like when the mother tells the father, he's not rebelling that he's not trying to ride his bike. He's just scared. He doesn't want to say no to you. He's just scared to ride his bike. They don't want to not go to Canaan. Wouldn't that be the best defense ever? They don't want to not go into Israel. They're just so scared because they never fought a day in their lives and they're crying, God, please, come on. Have a little compassion. Go down. Give him a hug, say you can do it, pick him up, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Wouldn't that have been an amazing response? Watch what Moshe says. This is Moshe's defense. You know what happens if you're going to kill them off? Egypt's going to hear that you wiped them out. The Egyptians that you created, by the way. Egypt's going to hear that you wiped them out. Everyone knows that you took them out of Egypt, and you're holding on to them, and you're giving them the cloud, and you're giving them the fire. And you know what they're going to say? Here's what they're all going to say about you, God. This is Moshe to God. You know what they're going to say about you, God? If you kill these guys, they're all going to talk about you. Yeah, you're just going to be like, oh, right. The God that took out the Jews, everyone in Canaan's going to be like, yo, remember that guy? The guy that took out the Jews? He couldn't handle it. He can mess with Egypt, but he can't mess with Canaan. So you know what he did? He cut his losses and booked out. He killed them in the desert, and he left. That's Moshe's defense. You, God, who created Egypt and Canaan and runs the entire world, are going to have a really bit of a PR mess if you kill us. I mean, Twitter's going to go crazy, and Facebook's going to kill you, and if you think CNN is bad, forget it. This is like BBC antiquity style. There's no one going to be on for that. Forget that. As soon as you knock these guys out, they're going to be talking about you over coffees and camels and hummus forever. And what does God say? Vayomer Hashem salachti kidvarecha. You're right. I didn't realize that. My bad. They can live. What just happened here? How in the world is God, who created the universe, who, by the way, does not have a self-conscious problem, who doesn't need to go to therapy, has amazing self-esteem because he created the world and everyone else in it, and the reason why he's not knocking them out is because he doesn't want to have the bad rep to them thinking that he can't do it. So as a kid, I remember in math, they taught you A plus B equals C, remember that? And then they gave you A and C, but they didn't give you B. We got Meraglim, we got the defense, but what are we missing here? And we're missing, I believe, the core of what everything is going around. When we understand what Moshe was arguing for, we will understand everything that's going on in this story and in Tisha B'av. So let's take a little bit of a side turn, and let's talk about it. I want to take a little bit of a detour. I want to talk to you about my favorite age. My wife and I have a little bit of a disagreement. It wouldn't be a fight because then I'd lose. Just a disagreement. What are favorite ages? My wife's favorite age, 0 to 3. 0 to 2. She loves it. They're perfect, right? They don't talk back. They snuggle on demand. They sit in that same thing, they bounce all day. And they're happy with anything. You know what I'm talking about? 0 to 2, right? Grandma comes in with like all of Toys R Us. I bought everything out for you. The 1-year-old's like, I found a spoon. I'm good for like 5 years. You know what I mean? 0 to 2, they're perfect. To me, 0 to 2, if you can't wrestle with them, what are you doing with them? Keep them alive and healthy until they can actually do some fun. For me, my favorite age is 2 to 5. Best. Why? Because everything happens 2 to 5. Everything. Every skill you have right now, you got 2 to 5. When you get to 2, you can't do anything. When you get to out of 5, when you graduate 5, you learn how to eat and drink and walk and talk and ABCs and go to the bathroom. Everything basic life skill. That's like math and like, a little Hebrew, and then you get married. I'm saying like that's it. What you have in every life skill that you need to survive, you got by 5, and that's it. You get to 2, and like you're barely a human being. Once you go 2 to 5, you go like this. It is like Success City. It is exponential growth. How? How do 3-year-olds do so much? You ever notice that? 3-year-olds dominate humanity. How? You will never see a bunch of 3-year-olds sitting around a park going like, I am so bored. Oh my God, I did the slide 3 times. Anybody have a Wii that I can play with? Ma. Right? Is your iPhone charged yet? Ever. 3-year-olds? When do 3-year-olds get up in the morning? 5 a.m., right? I'm up. I'm up. Mommy, I'm up. She's like, hello, God, give me 2 more minutes, right? How do we get up in the morning? It's like we break up with our pillows. You know, we're like, goodbye, pillow. I miss you so. Okay, fine, 5 more minutes. Forget the gym, right? Forget the shower. You know, I'll just collect unemployment. Forget it, I'm staying in bed. Right? And then when we leave, we make like deals. We're like, okay, I'll leave now, but this weekend it's me and you the whole weekend. I'm canceling all my plans. I'm going to sleep all day. Us, the greatest gift God can give us is when we get to get up an hour. When we get up an hour before we have to. You know what I'm talking about? You ever have that? When you look up your alarm, you're like, oh, I can't believe it. Like, oh, I have another hour to be unconscious. I didn't believe in you beforehand, but now I totally do. Sleep is the enemy of the 3-year-old. It's like 11:30. He's like, I'm not tired. 3-year-olds dominate humanity. You ever give a 3-year-old a cookie? What do? I have another hand, you know. And you go, 1 per customer. You're like, I will stand here for the rest of my life. Right? What do? Here you go. You ever watch 3-year-old and mom go into the supermarket? Is that not the best ever? Mom has no idea of the ambush that lies in front of her. She walks into that supermarket and she's looking for flowers. She makes the wrong turn. Now she's on the cookie aisle. She's going slow. She's like, please let me get out. Please let me get out. And 3-year-old's going, Lad. Oh my God. Mommy, this is the most cookies I've ever seen in my entire life. As if they found it together, like as if he's letting her know. And then she negotiates with the 3-year-old son. You were a really good boy in the car and I gave you a snack. Maybe I'll give you a snack when we get back into the car. And he looks and goes, really? You want to do this? In public? You're on. Ah! She's like, right? He turns to his brother. He's like, 18 seconds, I own her. 3-year-olds dominate humanity. You can have 100 people over Pesach Seder. That 3-year-old's in a bad mood. Everyone's going to kill each other. Kid goes to bed on the couch. Everyone's like, oh, okay, I feel better. Sorry, Grandma. Didn't mean to say that. Let's start again. What is it about 3-year-olds that make them so indestructible? And the answer is that 3-year-olds start this world like all of us do. Simple. You know, Shlomo HaMelech says that man is created simple. We complicate things. And when a 3-year-old is born, there's only one thing that he focuses on. It. There's something outside himself. He has no sense of self. He doesn't know himself. He's not self-aware. He wants a cookie. He wants a toy. He will go up. You ever watch a 3-year-old go up to a bunch of like older kids and take the toy and they push him down? He just gets back up and takes the toy again. You ever have that? You're like, you're not learning anything? He's like, yeah, whatever. You're pain. Okay, that's fine. I want the toy. Like he's so focused on it. The it's that they want when they're 3 is little. But when your life, and every second of your life, is something that you want, it's something that you're trying to get for, every fiber of your being is trying to accomplish it. You can't sleep. You know how much destruction you can do in the morning? You can bring your mother down to her knees another day. How could one sleep with all that fun? Do you know what a 3-year-old could do every second? They want and want and want and want and want. Even if their wants are materialistic, they're little and all they have is want. And when you go up against someone that wants something more than you don't want them to have it, you know in their eyes, I'm going to lose. And every parent knows what I'm talking about. A 3-year-old says, I want a cookie. You're like, listen, do I have the patience to go like 15 rounds with him? Okay, don't joke. The other day, I have a 3-year-old, I know this. I had a few. Now I still have one left. And he goes to me the other day, he goes, Daddy, I want a cookie. I said, I don't want a cookie. He goes, but I want a cookie. I said, yeah, there's no cookies in the house. He's like, I want a cookie. No, I'm like, I got it. It just doesn't exist in our home. He's like, can I have a cookie now? And I'm like, okay, I got to find the cookie. I'm like, just give me a cookie. I want a cookie. And when you live your life, and what you're after is it, is something, is outside you, you breathe, and you wake, and you work to accomplish. That's how they learn how to walk. If it was us trying to learn how to walk, they're like clowns. They go up, they go down, they go up, down. We're embarrassed for them, which is why like, if they're not walking in time and all right, we're getting all nervous for them. If it was us, we'd try to learn to walk twice and we'd like crawl into a car and learn how to drive. They don't care. They're not worried about how you feel about them. They're not interested in whether or not you think they're doing it right or they're progressing at the right appropriate age. I want it. And usually they don't know how to walk. They want the lollipop, and we just torture them by just moving back in time. And they've learned how to do everything by just lollipops. Lollipops is the greatest gift God has given humanity. And when all of us are young, we are born with a concept of something that we're after. There's an it in our lives. And it motivates us. And it drives us. And wakes us up. And it keeps us up. And no matter what goes on in the world, there's something that we're after that makes us breathe. And then something happens. It happens around 6 or 7 years old. Girls before boys. All my girls are the same. All my kids are the same. My girls are a year or two before boys. Wintertime. I get them dressed in the morning. Hats, jackets, gloves, knapsack. Hats, jackets, gloves, knapsack. Hats, jackets, gloves, knapsack. And day after day, week after week, hats, jackets, gloves, knapsack. And then one day, always, girls a little before boys, but they all do it. I turn around and go, oh no, Daddy, I'm not wearing my hat. Oh, why not? It's cold. Yeah, I know that it's cold, but I'm not wearing my hat. How come? Because if I wear my hat, I'm going to look like a geek. But you're going to get sick. I understand that I may have negative ramifications to my body and my health. But you must not know what's going on. Because I'm in 2nd grade. And it's something worse than my own health. You know what that's called? My image. And then there's a new boss in town. It was once something. And now there's a new creator. It's called my image. And I walk on a bus and I'm being told as a little kid, there is no success in getting things. Please. You know where success lies? And where we tell you it lies. It's in acceptance. You're not inherently wearing nice clothes. You're wearing nice clothes if we decide they're nice. Which is why like every year there's new clothes coming out. Like there's like 5 people like in like Milan making the whole thing up, and everyone's like, wow, big glasses, small glasses, big glasses, small glasses. Oh, 1970s. You ever do this? You ever go to your grandparents' house, year 1, and be like, Grandma, what were you wearing? Next year it's all in style. You come back, you're like, Grandma, you were really in style. You ever have that? It's all the same clothes. A group of people say, this is important. Then we go, oh yeah, it must be important. This must be good style. And they're little. And there's no activities. There's nothing that you can get that is outside you that is inherently valuable. You know where value lies? In acceptance. And not being unique, and being the same. Like all of us. Fit in with us. Your value, your greatness is not what you can accomplish. Your greatness is what we tell you it is. You can do all you want. You could be an A student, but once we decide that grades are geeky, then that's not valuable anymore. You could be the best student in the world, but if we think that sports, or if we think that these people or those people, if we look around and we determine, whatever it is that we determine is value, you now can't go to any it in the world to get it, because what you really, really need is acceptance. And so we move from trying to get it to trying to get me. We once were looking around going, me? What's me? I have to get something. Now we go, oh my God, I got to worry about me. I got to protect me. Am I going to be accepted? And we look around and we cut and paste everything that we can around us to try to figure out, who am I? We have to find ourselves. And we have to figure out who I am. Who do I want to be? What am I going to be like? Because what happened to us for the first time in our lives is that us was in question. And then we hit high school. And the fun begins. Oh, who are you with? Who are you hanging out with? What are you doing? What are you not doing? Oh, you're like, oh, and then you get jobs. Oh, you're doing what? Oh, you're doing what? Oh, are you going to this school? Oh, you're not going to this school? Oh. And all of a sudden the world starts to you through life. You're like, oh, I don't want to get the I want to get the and I want to go through. And then you go through life, and all we're thinking about is, what about me? Am I going to be accepted? And then you get bigger, and the toys get bigger, and the honors get more important, and we come into a room, you ever walk into a room and feel automatically threatened because you are under attack? Because guess what? I don't remember the last time I didn't think about me. Because the world, whether we like it or not, starts to revolve around me. And guess what happens is, then all of a sudden people that are different start to feel off. I don't like hanging out with people that are different than me. We buy it. You practice different than me, then you must be wrong, because I bought into the sameness principle all this time. I can't be around someone that has a different opinion. I can't look around to the Jew that's not like me. And I start to feel comfortable in my sameness and uncomfortable in my uniqueness. And as soon as someone shows up a little bit too much drive, it's like, easy soldier, settle. And us is now what we're after. We stop worrying about it. And every it that we have in our lives is really in relative to what that means for us. And what that does for my acceptance. And what they're going to say about me when it happens or if it doesn't happen. And God forbid, should God throw me a curveball. So we start praying. And you know what we're praying for? We need stuff. God, I need stuff. You told me how to get stuff. I need stuff. Here's the deal. Amazon spiritual shopping. You need prayer and food and some clothing. I need health, happiness, and some money. Let's go. We got a deal. I don't say something. Zappos delivers overnight. What is taking you so long? I said to him 3 times. I baked challah. I went around to the mikvah. I went down to I just saw 40 times. I did everything possible. Hello, where are you? I need stuff. We need things. I'm uncomfortable. Take care of me. My wife is here for me. My husband doesn't understand me. My parents don't get me. My kids just won't follow me. My rabbi just doesn't say the things that I agree with. If I were just in charge of everything in the world, it'd be so smooth. You ever had that conversation on the Shabbos table? If I were the president of Israel, this whole Gaza thing would be over. Sure. It's so simple. Why aren't you the prime minister? Huh? Please, get on an hour flight and this will all be over by tomorrow morning. If I were the rabbi, if I were the president. Why is this so important for me? So I'll tell you a story. There's a great story about a man named Herb Brooks. Herb Brooks was a coach of the 1980 United States Olympic hockey team. In the 1980s, the Olympics were basically a little bit lopsided. The Americans couldn't play any professionals, and they were playing hockey against the Russians. This is the Cold War. I know some people here that remember the Cold War. I see some young people that don't know anything about the Cold War. Russians were the bad guys. And they were playing hockey. And Herb Brooks had the impossible task of trying to get a bunch of college kids to beat a professional team of hockey players. And in 1980, they beat them. And there's a story about Herb Brooks, about how he did it. And there was one pivotal moment in the training in which he had a team that really wasn't getting together. One came from Michigan, one came from Minnesota, one came from Boston, and each and every one of them thought they were great players. And as they got against each other, they started fighting with each other. They did it one way, one did it another way, and they all wanted to win, but everyone had their rivalries. Everyone had their ways of playing. Everyone had their own cliques. And every single practice, they would come out again, and they would break into fights, and the team would never fully gel together. And they played one game, and they lost terribly. And at the end of the game, he calls all of them together. And all they think they're ready to go home. They played a full game. He goes, you boys aren't going anywhere. They go, what do you mean, coach? Game's over. He goes, here's the story. And he had originally said to them earlier when they first got together, he said, I want you to tell me what your name is, where you're from, and what team do you play for? And they all went around the circle. And one guy said, my name is John McClanahan. I come from Boston, and I play for University of Boston. And he goes, my name is Rich Callahan. I come from Minnesota. I play for the University of Minnesota. And the third guy said, I'm from so-and-so. I come from Michigan, and I play for the University of Michigan. And finally, they're playing, and they're all they're separate. And they get to this game, and they come to the end of the game, and the coach goes, you ain't going nowhere. They go, coach, the game's over. They go, well, if you guys don't want to play on the court, on the ice when it's game time, maybe you'll learn how to play after it's game time. They go, what do you mean, coach? He goes, everyone line up. You can picture a full hockey team, and he made him do drills. Drills are where you skate back and forth through the ice again and again and again, and it's exhausting. And he lines them all up and he goes, go. And they skate once, twice, third time, again, fourth time, again, fifth time. They're getting exhausted. He goes, again, seventh time. And he turns around as they're skating and goes, the problem with you boys is that when you put on the jersey, the name on the back you think is more important than the name on the front. Again. And they're exhausted. And again, he says again, he goes, when you put on a jersey from now on, I want you never to forget that the name on the front is more important than the name on the back. Do it again. And now they're losing it. They've played a full game. They go on drills, and they're on the floor. And he goes, again, until you get it, again. And they go back and forth, and they're huffing and puffing. He says it again. He goes, what you boys better understand, that the name on the front is more important than the name on the back. Do it again. And they're about to die, these guys. And they shut the lights of the rink, and everyone's trying to get him to stop. And he goes, they're not stopping until they get it. And they're going back and forth. And finally, they collapse. And he goes, boys, you don't understand that the name on the front is more important than the name on the back. Do it again. And the boys can't move. And he goes, I said, do it again. And the players just can't. They can't move. And he goes, I said, get up and do it again. And as he's about to scream for the third time, he hears from the back of the guys, one player scream out, he goes, my name is Michael Eruzione. He turns around and walks over to his player and goes, where are you from? He goes, I'm from Waltham, Massachusetts. And he goes, and what team do you play for? He goes, I play for the United States of America. He looks around and goes, that'll be all, boys. He walks off the ice. Because I want to explain to you what unity is. We think unity is when we're nice to each other. We think unity is when I see a new person in shul and go over and say, hi, how are you? We think unity is chesed. We think unity is baking people the right. That's all wonderful stuff. We think unity is not talking Lashon Hara. That's wonderful. But that's not unity. Unity is not when we're nice to each other. Unity is when we pick up every single morning our jersey and we put it on, and we remember that the name on the front is more important than the name on the back. Every one of us, no matter where we're from, or our background, or our affiliation, or where our grandparents came from, or if I'm into it or not into it, or if I'm Sephardi or Ashkenazi, that is all not, every single one of us, every single morning, wakes up and puts on a jersey called God. We're His people. And the only question we ask ourselves all day is whether the name on the front of that jersey is more important than the name on the back. Is it me and my family? Am I still trying to get your approval? Is it still everything to do with me? It's about Michigan or Boston or the way I play hockey or the way I like things or the way I want it to work out? Or do I wake up every single morning and what is on the front of my jersey is USA? Period. Because the minute that becomes more important, I don't have to like you. I need you. I'm not being nice by liking you. The only way we win a game is if you're different than me. I'm not respecting your diversity. I only survive in your diversity. We think God is one-dimensional, as if we don't need every single type of human being to be part of our nation, as if there doesn't need to be millions of types of Jews to properly represent the creator of humanity. I have to accept you? Accept what? You're not different, if you're not you, if you're a carbon copy of me, we lose. Acceptance is a fake. It's a fake out. It's a childish way to grow up stuff. It's all, we grew up, we all had this. We woke up in the morning and we had it. It was just a cookie. If that it wasn't a cookie, but if it was God, we'd wake up at 5 in the morning and we would change the universe. I don't have to accept you. I don't need you to accept me. We're playing for something. There's a reason why we're here. We're not another nation that just lives and hopefully we know the back door into God. If we say this Tehillim or that Tehillim, or if you hook them up here, if we show up on the 10th day of Tishrei, you get a good year. You're kidding me? We're not a different nation. God uses us. We are being used by God so that He is in this world. From the beginning of our creation, what God has done, God could have started the Jewish people off in the middle of nowhere We could have had some really nice place in the middle of like Australia, covered by all this water. We could have lived together. We could have had tishas and dancing and learning. Life would have been perfect. God would have said, hey guys, I'm here. I'm putting you in this gorgeous place. It's beautiful. We're going to take a trip to the Alps once a year. We'll come back and no one's going to touch us. He put us in the epicenter of civilization in Egypt. The whole world was watching Egypt. Now Egypt's a third world country. We don't realize. Back then, Egypt was the epicenter of the world. And he put us in slavery. He stacked every deck against us. He said, you ready to roll? I'm not done yet. Everything, come on. The whole nation was watching. The whole world was watching. And he stacked it and he stacked it. He made us slaves. He brought us power. He hardened his heart. He goes, we ready yet? Watch. The whole world's going to know I exist because of you people. Your existence means I'm in this world. You're not another nation that happens to hopefully have a good life and make sure your kids are going to go to college and have a nice house and have enough food for Shabbos and then extra food for Shabbos and then more food for Shabbos and then some more food for Shabbos. We're not that nation that just also, oh, by the way, why do you do all of what you do? Because I'm Jewish. I'm Orthodox. So I have to do all the stuff on my list. No. We wear jerseys every day, whether we like it or not. It's called God. We wear USA every morning. We wake up in the morning, all of us. I don't care how far you think you are. I don't care how close you think you are. We wear the same jersey. It's the same jersey. The only difference is the name on the back. We're in this world for Him. And we're like shocked. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that France doesn't like us. Who would have thought that like Germany changed their flights to Israel? Because Germany has such an amazing track record with Jews. Who would have thought that in an Israeli crisis, Germany is like, hey, let me defend Jewish people. We're like, it's amazing how every single crisis the Jews are more concerned. Why doesn't the world just realize that Hamas is in a kindergarten? Because that's not how it works. We're living in New Jersey in the Middle East. There are more children dying in Syria and Iraq and in every other country. Nobody cares, and we're like shocked. We haven't got the memo yet. We're not just another nation on the list. There's a lady in the UN, I don't know if you saw this clip. There's a lady in the UN who had a hot mic. You saw the thing? This is amazing. There's a lady in the UN that did the last resolution they passed against us. There's a lady with a hot mic in the UN after they passed the vote. It was like 1,000,000 to 1. And she turned around and she goes, what's with Israel? There's a lot of bad stuff going on in the world. Why are they all against Israel for? And she's like, uh-oh, mic's on. Click. She's like fired or whatever. She's in Siberia or like in Afghanistan right now. And we're like shocked. I can't believe it. The world doesn't love us. Why doesn't the world come? Has the world ever loved us? Has there been a period of time where I was like, oh my gosh, we've always had people behind us. There's always been righteous people from different nations that are behind us. We've always had those people that stood up in our defense. Because we're one nation. God tells us again and again, stop. Just stay together. Stop crying. Stay together. You're superhuman. You're just so focused on the name on the back. You're not realizing your own power. You are the Jewish people. I need you because your existence is my proof of existence. And once you realize that the purpose of our existence is to represent Him in all our lives, it's not just learning all day in our medicine and law and walking down the street and being who we are, by being a nation of who we are. And if we realize we put on that jersey, there is no more room to look over to someone and go, oh, well, you're not like me? I have nothing left. I'm a 3-year-old again. I'm not self-aware. I don't need your acceptance. I don't need you to tell me how great I am. All I see is God. What does He want me to do today? How am I as a husband? For real. How am I as a husband? For real. For real. How am I as a parent? For real. Am I making my kids religious because I'm embarrassed if they're not? Or am I really doing it because I buy it and I want them to have what I have? Do I really care about the Jewish people? Or is it like when it's I don't want to hear this, just. Have I really pushed myself religiously this year? Or am I the same person year after year? I just don't want to push. I don't want to push. I was in Israel 2 months ago with a group of people. What time is it? I don't want to stay all night. I have a bit for you guys. Okay, 2 more minutes. I'm almost done. I was in Israel 2 months ago with a group of 100 men. We took a mission to Israel. We went to a commando base up in north. This was when they were looking for the kids before all this happened. And I stopped by a soldier and we were talking to the guys. And I said, tell the guys what it means to be a soldier. I'll never forget this. He's a short guy, a little yarmulke. He's a commando. They're all commandos. These short guys. I'm like, I thought I could take him. The guy's like, he's lethal. He could probably kill me with like his eyes. He's like 4'5". You know what I'm talking about? He's got 700 pounds of stuff behind him. He's like, oh, there's 500 pounds behind me. I didn't even realize. I'm like claiming I'm carrying a water bottle. You know? I'm like, what does it mean to be a soldier? Tell the guys. He said, here's what he said. He said, I fight for two things. For my people and for my God. Because let me tell you something. I hate fighting. I hate it. I hate the drills. I hate the responsibility. I hate the midnight raids. Because I'd rather be from America and worry about what I'm getting into college when I'm 19, 20. And be mad at what I love. But guess what? When you're a soldier and you fight for your God and your people, what you like is less relevant than what you have to do. Whether I like it or not is not the point. That's what it means to be a soldier. We're all soldiers in his army. Just some of us have different jobs. We're sitting in the epicenter of the world. We're sitting in modern day Egypt. And the only question we ask ourselves is, have I forgotten every morning when I put on my jersey that I play for the name in the front before the name in the back? And the minute we forget that, you know what it comes out to? You know what the manifestation of that virus looks like? Sinas chinam. Sinas chinam is the litmus test to Emunah. Sinas chinam is the litmus test to whether or not we got it or we don't. That's why it's so terrible. That's why it's our kryptonite. It's not because God picked one off the list and said, this is the bad one. It's because this tells us if we can look so religious, we can have the best points. We can argue why we're exactly in the middle. If I look down on another person, another Jew, if I'm not connected, it is the proof positive that I don't buy the mission. I don't believe in it. I don't put on my jersey. And the name on the front isn't more important than the name on the back. And God says, if you don't get that, then guess what? I can't coach you if you're not even playing in the game. I'm not punishing you. I'm not trying to hurt you. I can't be there. If you don't want to be, if you're not trying to play the same game, we're on two different planets. Just you make mistakes. I don't care. But just tell me you want to play. And the second base I made this, people said, I don't even want to play. Guess what? I can figure it out myself. It's about me. And God goes, I'll see you. Tell me when you guys get it together, okay? Just let me know, and I'm coming right back. And we go, sure. 2,000 years later, we're like, almost. That's our challenge. That is the hidden light that's within these days. Tonight, tomorrow night, until Wednesday morning, there is a special power that exists during this period of time more than any period of time that gives us the ability to tap into an energy called, we're one team. We play for him. If you've ever felt that way, if you've ever had that thought, it's nestled spiritually into this period of time, and if we walk out of this period of time and all we got was we survived another fast, God's like, we almost had it. All right, next year. Why did Moshe say what he said for? Now it makes sense. What did Moshe say to God? What was the problem with the spies? Right? There were two types of spies that went into the land, right? Yoshua sent spies. What did he send in? The way you would think spies would go in. If they sent in spies to Gaza, how many spies did they send in? They sent in a few guys. They called them spies. He would spy the land. What would they do? They'd come back to the general and they would report it. They would never go to the media. Yoshua sent in spies. He sent in two spies. You know what it says in the pasuk? They were called meraglim. They were spies. You know what they did? Leragel. They went to spy out. They went in to check out Jericho. They came back and they told Yoshua quietly, here's how we're going to take the land. What did Moshe do? He sent in 12 spies. They weren't army men. They were representatives of the nation. Would you ever send every Israeli political party into Gaza, right? I mean, maybe that may be a good idea. I don't know, but I'm saying, would you ever send in every political party into Gaza? No way! There wasn't even a reference. Look in the pasuk that says Meraglim. And it didn't say Leragel, it says Latur. What does Latur mean? Latur means to scout. To scout means to check its value. They weren't even looking for how they're going to win. They're looking, is it big? Is it small? Is the fruit's nice? How is the land? They weren't looking to see how they were going to take it. They were looking to see if they were going to take it. They came back and they announced it to the crowd. By the way, everybody, we all came back and decided, no, thank you. And God goes, I'm sorry. You're not a nation that makes this choice. You're my nation. I said go. What are you worried about? Normalcy? You play for me. You missed the memo. This isn't like, do you want to or don't you want to? You're my people. I pulled you out of Egypt to represent me. This isn't a question. You think you're a regular nation that's going to walk in? You think we're going to walk in? You think the people that walked to Eretz Yisrael in the 1940s were regular people? Take the land. And Moshe got it because he's brilliant. He said, uh-oh. The mistake wasn't that they cried over the land. The mistake was they forgot they worked for him. We're not here to be another nation. We're here to represent him. He goes to God and goes, God, oh, wait a second. Okay, we're wrong. But if you kill us, then it's bad for you the way you're being seen in the world. Our death is going to do a disservice to our mission. And God goes, you finally got it. This isn't about you. This is about me. Your people is about me. And you got it, Moshe. Your death would do harm for my ability to be in this world. And so because of that, I'm going to keep you around and never for the rest of time forget it. That the name on the front is more important than the name on the back. That's Tisha B'av. That's the core sin of that day. Me. And I'm smart, so I'm going to dress up me in all these sophisticated ways to make it look like it's not me. I'm doing it for God. Do me a favor. Me. My marriage, me. My kids, me. My neighborhood, my hashkafa, me. And every second of me pulls away from it, from him. We're not Superman anymore. We were once Superman. We're not. And we're seeing it, and it's scaring us. And in comes Tisha B'av. It couldn't have come. I'm not the guy that says, do this and this is going to happen. I don't know that stuff. No one gives me the inside scoop of like why everything happens. But it seems to be quite obvious as to what's going on. We are entering into the time where that seed is being planted every year anew. Where each of us walk back up to the coach and he hands us our jersey. We put them right back on. And we sit on the floor. And when we get up from that floor, we're going to make a call. Every one of us is going to make a call. What's more important? The front or the back? Period. And if enough of us decide that from now on, it's the front. I'm not 6 years old anymore. I don't care. I was 3 once. It's an it. I'll maybe look embarrassed. I may be vulnerable. I may get hurt. I'm not going to be dumb. Common sense is still part of our lives. But I have to really regenerate back to that 3-year-old heart with an adult mind. And now instead of a cookie, it's going to be representing the creator of humanity. And if we all walk around, and the first thing we see in each other, if the first thing I see when I see a Jew, and everyone's wonderful, and I'm God forbid not saying that someone who's not is not wonderful, but if I walk around and I see a Jew, and the first thing that I see is not the name on the front, if I see the name on their back, it's still about me. I go right back to the Meraglim, and here we go again. And my bracha to us is that we get it. You know, the Chafetz Chaim says that one community that adopts upon themselves Darchei Shalom, one community says Genik, or in Sephardi, enough. One community says, I'm done. One. That community has the power to bring Geula for the nation. It is my bracha. Queens is a great place. I'm living 5 towns. You pick me up on the way, we'll take a JFK flight. It'd be perfect. When I go to Newark, that would be crazy. Even Geula won't go through Newark. I promise you that. Just kidding. No, I'm not. My bracha to us is that one community stands together, puts on our jersey, looks up and says, I'm living for you. I'm old, I'm young, I'm in, I'm out. My decisions are now going to be through your mind. And we look to each other. And what we see is not different types of anything. What we see is the diversity that we enjoy and that we live that makes the beautiful portrait called our people. And may this be the year when we do it and get it, that we are actually going to be, hopefully not, but if we are, going to be sitting on the floor for what will be, in Eretz Hashem, the last Tisha B'av ever. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charlie Harary. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him another round of applause. Charlie Harary. We will be having Ma'ariv Arvit towards the end of the event in about 2 minutes. There are drinks to your left. While you leave, there are flyers, newsletters, newspapers, the QJL, the magazines, and other pamphlets CDs you can take with you. And don't forget Tisha B'av tomorrow night, and the whole day, Tuesday, we have the event in Bet Gavriel. A week from tonight, Ari Goldwag, the Young of the Queens Valley, Kew Garden Hills, and dinner September 15th. Thank you. Have a great night, everybody.